Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajulam. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're new to my channel, you're welcome. Consider subscribing and don't forget to turn on the bell icon so that I get to know anytime I post new videos. So today I'm going to show us how to make this circle cloud effect ball dress. So if you're interested, let's get started. Here I have my fabric. As you can see, I have my 1 yard of my satin and I'm working with 6 yards of my tulle. I also have my 1 yard of my lining. So this is very important. If you want the dress to have a little puffiness, you can go ahead and add a hard net to it. So we're going to start now with the skirt part. So here I have my pattern already folded in 4, same way you fold when you want to make a full circle pattern. Now we're going to start with the length of the skirt. The length of the skirt is what I'll be using to divide with 6.28, which is the formula for a full circle. Now I'm working with 11 inches as the length of the skirt. Okay, so I'm going to divide this by 6.28 and then this is going to give me 1.75. So no matter the age that you want to make this for, all you need is to divide the to use the length of the skirt and then divide by 6.28. Whatever you have there is what you're going to be marking out as the radius of your circle. Now for this skirt part, I am using a full circle method. There are other ways of making this dress. You can also use a flounce method, but I normally use full circle because this is going to make the dress to come out the way I want it to be. So I'll just go ahead and mark 1.75, and then after marking it out, you can decide how wide or small you want the flounce to be. Okay, so for this is for a year old, so I don't want it to be too bold, so I'll be using 3 inches plus ½ inch for my sewing allowance, making it 3.5. Okay, so that's what I'll be cutting out, after which I will now cut as many that will be enough for me to use. Now the base for the satin, you're going to be you decide how full or small you want this dress to be. So you can either use the 90-degree circle, or you can use the 180 or even the 360-degree to cut out on your satin. Okay, so if you want to use the 360-degree pattern for your satin, that is to say you make sure to have enough net to use, because the more wider it is, the more net is going to take. So I'm going to cut this out. This is the pattern. This is what I'll be using now to cut out on my net. So like I said earlier, I'm going to cut as many that will cover up for the skirt part. And for my satin, I'll be using the 180-degree to cut out because I want it as simple as possible. So let me just quickly cut this out and open it up. So this is my pattern now. Just open it up one side. So you can see that on this part I have the length of the skirt. So this is how it's going to be. We're going to sew it like this on the satin. Now if you want to make this for a bigger older kids, say the skirt length is 18 to 22 inches, you're going to use the flounce method. That is if you don't want to waste your net. You know, when you use the circle method, you're going to end up wasting a lot of your net. So you can use the flounce method for older kids, that is on the skirt part. So I'll just go ahead now and cut out the 180-degree like I said on my satin, and then we continue. Alright, you can see that my satin is already in a triangle form. This is how you fold when you want to cut out a half circle pattern. So now I'm going to use the waist measurement and then divide by 3.14, which is half of the full circle formula 6.28. So half of that is what I'll be using to divide with the waist measurement, because I am cutting out a half circle. So the waist measurement for this is 21 divided by 3.14, and I'll have 6.6. So I'll just go ahead and mark it now. From this point I'll just mark 6.6. but now for the length of my satin, I'm going to use the same 11 inches, so that by the time I fold, or rather I'll use 12 inches, so that before I'll hem this other side and then use the half inch for the waist sewing allowance, I'll have it smaller than the net. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and mark 6.6 here and take it all the way around and then mark out the length. Then I will show us how to join the circle on this skirt part. Right here you can see I have the net cut out. I decided to add this color just to tone the color down a little bit. I don't want it to be too shiny. Okay, so I decided to add this just to bring the color down a bit. So now this is my satin. So the first thing I did here, make sure to remove your zipper allowance, because we're not going to be sewing this up to this end. So make sure to remove the zipper allowance. I did the same on this other side. Now I'm going to start from the midpoint, which is this center front. Okay, now you can see I have a line marked already on this center front. I hope you can see this very well. Okay, so I'm just using the same color. Now you're going to start from the center front and mark, so that whatever you have left towards this back side, you know how to go about that. So now from the waist, you can see the waist is smaller, it is 21, while the hem side is very long. So at this point you need to calculate how you're going to be marking it. So for this, because it's a half circle, I'm going to be using, from this center front, I will be marking half an inch all the way down to the zipper end here, while on this waist side I'm going to be marking quarter an inch. If I mark quarter an inch here, I'll mark half an inch on the hem side and then I'll connect it straight. So you need to mark out all these lines so that by the time you start attaching the two, you know where to stitch it. Okay, so I'll just start from this center front and work my way. So on getting to this end, whatever you have there, you can now decide either to increase or reduce so that it will match up what you have at the back side. So let me quickly mark this like I just explained. From this center front, I'll just mark for the waist is quarter an inch, and on the hem side is half an inch. Then I'll connect it straight. So I'm going to repeat this process until I have all my lines marked out. Then sewing, I'm going to start from the center front as well. So I'll be using more of this pitch. I'm going to sew from the center front, as you see. Just follow it that way and stitch it. Follow the second line. That is why I said that you need to mark out all your lines before stitching all these in. Okay, I'll also show us how to sew this part. So I'll just quickly finish all the markings because this is the most important part of this tutorial. So I'll just take my time, finish all the markings, and then take us to my sewing machine and show you how to join the circles. So this is where we are, as you can see, after stitching some of this. This is the look. Like I said earlier, if you want to use this 360-degree for the flounce, it's going to take lots of net. So if you don't have enough net to work with, you can use the flounce method to cut out your tube. That way you manage your tube. But if you have more than enough, you can use this and it will turn out very well. So I'll just keep on going now. You can see this is it. Like I said earlier, especially if you're a beginner, make sure to mark so that you know your lines before sewing this on it. So I'll just keep on going until I'll cover up all that I have here. This is where we are so far, and this is what my 6 yards will give me. So that is to say, you're going to be needing at least 10 yards of net if you want to make for a year old. So you're going to be needing at least 10 yards. So now another thing I would like to show us is how to fix this on this waistline. You can see that I didn't start exactly on this waistline. I came down a bit, and then you're going to use that pointy edge of your circle so that by the time you join the upper side, this other side is going to be free. Now you can see this is the pointy edge of my flounce, you know, this part. So you're going to place it this way, making sure that by the time you join the upper side, you only sew on this pointy edge so that this other side will be very free. Now for this side, this is how you're going to place it now. Follow your markings. So this is the pointy edge. You're going to place it like 1/4 inch below this waistline. Okay, just 1/4 inch below the waistline, and then you sew it, you sew that in. By the time you join the upper side, that is the bodice part, you're going to bring all this down this way so that you have only the pointy edge, and then make sure to just sew only that pointy edge. You see the way I'm bringing it down? This is how you're going to bring it down. Take your time and then make sure that your stitching touches only on this pointy edge, and then you stitch it all the way round. So I'll just go ahead and complete this other side and then show you the final look. Now if you want to use a flounce, maybe you don't have enough net to work for this, and you want to use the flounce method, which is going to save you some of your nets. I'll quickly show us how to do that as well. And I would also like to remind us that our online classes are on, so if you're interested in any of our online classes, kindly send me a WhatsApp message or the number that I'll be dropping in the description box, and then we'll take it from there. So let me quickly show us how to draft the flounce. If you want to make this for bigger kids or you don't have enough net to work with, so I'll just quickly show us how to do that for some of us that don't know how to draft the flounce. All right, for the flounce, like I was saying, the first thing to do is to get the midpoint. You can, if you want to make this for a bigger kid, make sure you have enough pattern that will be enough. Okay, so this is the midpoint. So for this now, we're working with the length of the skirt as well. It's the same thing with this other one. The difference now is that this one is the 360 degree that I used to cut that out. This is a flounce. So now I'm going to connect, just cross it over so that we'll make sure that we are on the right track. So this is it, like a cross, and this is the other side. All right, so this is the midpoint. So if you want your flounce, that is the width of your flounce, to be 3 inches like I did for this one, the first thing I'm going to do is to mark half of that from this center point and then connect it to a circle. So this is 1.5, half of the 3 inches. So work with your own measurement. If you want your flounce width to be 4, half of that is 2. Okay, so that is what I am doing now. This is 1.5, this is 1.5. Then I'm going to connect this first to a circle. All right, this is very easy. I'll connect to a full circle first before we now create the flounce. So I have a full circle now, so it's up to you now to decide where to use as either the starting point or where you want the flounce to end. So after doing this now, I will just start from this line that is facing me, and then I will mark my 3 inches, which is what I want to use as the flounce. That is the width of my flounce. So this is 3 inches. All I'm going to do now is to take it now from this point and make sure that it will touch to these points. You can see that we've started drafting or marking out the flounce. So I'll just continue that way. This is 3. Okay, so I'll just keep on connecting. Now as you're connecting, you should be checking to be sure that you have the length of the skirt that you're working with. Okay, so I'll just keep on. You can see the way I am moving it now. Just go that way, connect. But when I get to this point now, I'll place it now from this, from the initial point. Just continue that way, following the first line that you connected. Okay, we'll just take it that way, and then we're going to continue from the first line that you just connect, just that way, until you have enough that will cover, or that will be enough for the skirt length that you're working with. You can see that this is very easy. Okay, so by the time you cut now, you can see that you have what you want to use for the skirt length. Okay, just keep on going that way. Even if the skirt length is 20, all you need to do is keep on going, after which you check, use your tape and check. If you have excess, you can always cut it out. Okay, so I'm just going that way. I think from here now I should have enough. So now from this point, this is where you're going to place your ruler like this to check what you have, if it's up to the skirt length that you want to use. Alright guys, this is what I have after joining everything together. You can see that the skirt part is looking gorgeous already. So all you need to do, all I'm going to do now is to trim the hem area so that every on that part is going to be equal, and then you can play with the bodice parts, design it the way you want, and you have a very beautiful outfit right there. Like I said earlier, you can use at least 10 yards of net for a year old. So if you want to make, say, for 2, 3, 4, 5, you're supposed to know that you still need more net. You can't use 10 yards for 5-year-old, you can't use the same 10 yards for 7-year-old. So you need to, you know, add extra net or just have enough, and then at the end of the day you will see that you have a beautiful dress. If you don't want to use this full circle, you can use the flounce method like I just said, and the difference that is that the full circle one is going to have more volume than that of the flounce, but at the end of the day it's going to look so beautiful. So that is it for today. Please subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in my next video.